Okay, Rosie, that's sizzled down beautifully.
Yeah.
I want you to pick up the parsley and spinach and pop it in there as I throw the pine nuts in there. Now, what I'm going to do is toss that over. Because you've cut the spinach really fine, it wilts down in seconds. And I want to keep it nice and green, so I just want to add a little bit of heat here. If you heat up the spinach too much, what happens is it starts to wilt down a little bit and then drops all its water. So you want to catch it before that. There we go. Now, I've got some feta cheese there. I'm going to get you to crumble that out, all that beautiful filling. You love this, don't you? Does this smell
loving
good?
it. I'm absolutely loving it.
You love it. There we go.
It.
Now, crumble that feta cheese in there. I'm going to move that over there to the side there. And I'm going to grab this Fillo pastry straight out like that.
Whoosh.
Fillo pastry, one of my favourite pastries in the entire world. You know why? Because you don't have to make it. All you have to do is take it out of the fridge, let it come up to room temperature, which is really important, about an hour or so, sitting on the bench there, and then it's really, really easy to use. And if there's any left over, you just roll it back up, roll it into the plastic, and then back into the fridge. Now, if I'm going to do something that takes a lot of time, what I'll do is I'll cover this with just a slightly damp tea towel to stop it from drying out. Now, if you can mix that together, I want to get all that feta cheese in there. I've got a little tray here that we're going to work onto. You can see I've already lined this tray with some baking paper. I've just cut it out into a circle. Now, what I'm going to do, Rosie, is with this brush here, and you can see I use a big brush like that. The reason I do it is because I can brush the butter onto it really, really easily. And you can see just a couple of foul swoops like that, and I've got butter all over the place. What I'm going to do is layer it all over the top here. It looks like I'm being really messy and just throwing it all over the place, but there is method to this madness. Now, what I'll do, Rosie, is with these pieces here, I'll brush a little bit of butter on it. What I want to do is add a little bit of depth to this, so I scrunch it up a bit like that, and I'll do this 3 times to give me some body in the middle. As this cooks, it sort of stays in that position and holds up everything. And we've got the pastry on the bottom, pastry on the top. It's sort of like a toasty in a way, but it's going to be delicious. Now, what I'll do is
big old Fillo toasty.
Oh, fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do...
Never heard of it.
Oh, well, there's always a first time for everything, isn't there, Rosie? Normally, I would let this cool down, but we're in a hurry. We want to eat this. It smells fantastic, and I know it's going to taste delicious. I'll get you to spoon it on like that, Rosie. Spread it out. Don't go too far out of there. And while you're doing that, I'm going to grab some more of this pastry and drizzle it on. Now, the trick is, if you're using a paintbrush like this, buy a new brush. Don't use one that you pulled out of the garden shed that has turpentine or bits of paint all over it. Not a good thing. I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Not a good thing. I wouldn't recommend it either.
And I always use a black brush because occasionally you'll lose some of the fibres. And if it's a white brush, you won't see it. But if it's a black brush like this, you will always see those fibres coming out of it.
That is a famous Richo tip.
There we go. So you can tell Richo's used a little bit of pastry and rolled that out a few times. So I'm going to do one more over the top here like this. And then, Rosie, what I do is I grab this piece over here and pop it over the top there, and we start layering it up again. What I'll do, one more over the top like this. And then what I do, Rosie, is just fold it up like this around the sides so we get it nice and round in the middle. It's nice and easy,
I feel like you would varnish things at home with butter anyway, do you?
Butter and me.
It's just an all-rounder for
Butter and me, Rosie, are real good friends. I can tell you that right now. Now, this is the last one, and I've used the entire packet. And now I'm going to pretend that I'm tucking one of my little boys in, just underneath there like that. And this will sort of close it all off and make it look nice and pretty. Snuggle them in there and make sure the toes are tucked in as well, because you don't want anything getting out from underneath those toes. Grab those sesame seeds, and what I'm going to do is sprinkle some of these over the top just to make it look nice and pretty. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is pop this into the oven, 180 degrees. I'll know when this is cooked because it'll be all gold and brown all over the outside and be nice and crispy. Let's open the oven door, Rosie. Have a look at that, Rosie. It looks nice, doesn't it?
It does. It looks very impressive.
Now, just to fluff it up a little bit, it's sort of like what they call a bistaya, which is a Middle Eastern Fillo pie. Normally, they put pigeon in it. So it's sort of crossing the lines between a Gozleme, a bistaya, and a Richo's, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of icing sugar on it, and a little bit of sweetness is okay with savoury stuff. I know you're probably running to the doctor now to get your insulin shot. It'll just give you a little bit of sweetness on the top. Now, what I'm going to do is go through the middle here. Oh. Listen to that. Straight through there like that, and it just pulls apart beautifully. You can see you've got all those fluffy layers in there. And that's the thing I love about Fillo pastry. You've got all these beautiful layers. I'm going to cut a little bit, and quick.
Very
and
quick.
You don't have to make the pastry. The people at the Fillo pastry factory have done all the hard work for you. Now what I do is pop my knife under there and pop it over there. I know it's a toasty episode and I've probably gone way over the top here by doing something wacky, but that's my job, isn't it? To do something a little bit out of the
Well,
normal.
I'm just going to have a little go on this gorgeous phyllo.
You have a little go, and I'm just going to do what I like to do. Cut it straight in half
do
like
best.
that. Pull it apart. You can see that Fillo pastry's nice and crunchy. I've even got spinach in there, so Mum, you can tick that one off. I've had my veggies for today. I'm just gagging for this one. This is going to be delicious.
Well, you definitely spun the toasty concept on its head, I must say that.
Instead of having a toasty from now on, I reckon I'll get some Fillo pastry and whack one of these into the oven. No more toasties for me. It's Richo's Crunchly Gozleme forever.
He's been converted.